Hello guys, just got home from the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Definitely a really disappointing result. This was a good opportunity to finish the month with a win, to put some pressure on the teams around us, and mean that we could really relax and enjoy that mid-season break. We did not take that. And we've had a really difficult month in terms of the fixture list, in terms of availability within the squad, and in terms of results, you have to say. It's not been good. And I think for a lot of people, this result might feel the most damaging. Although we didn't lose, although it's obviously not the same as going out to Championship Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, I think people are very invested in our Premier League season, our finish in the European places, perhaps even the top four. And so this really does feel like an opportunity missed. I agree with that sentiment, I have to say. I think this is these big points to drop. I'm not convinced that we were terrible, I have to be honest. My sense is that if you play like this, you win more often than you don't. Burnley didn't offer a great deal, bar, I think, one heart-in-mouth moment at a set piece I can think of. Arsenal had a period in the game where it looked like they could and should win it, and they didn't. I'm thinking of that period where, Odegaard cut the corner back and Smith Rowe had that shot saved when Smith Rowe himself went to the line and pulled back for Lacazette. There was a kind of 5-10 minute window there where it felt like Arsenal had momentum. If they were going to win it, that was probably the moment. They did not. But I can't help but look past the lack of options in the squad and think that may have been the deciding factor. I'll give you an example. Two of our rivals recently won important points late on in games. There was the Tottenham one that was horrible, of course, 3-2 at Leicester. And I was just looking at that now and thinking, who did Tottenham bring off the bench? Matt Doherty, who they paid, I don't know, was it 15 million, maybe more, to sign from Wolves. Giovanni Lo Celso, who was incredibly expensive, midfield player. And Steven Bergwijn, who's a Dutch international, came on and scored twice. They had other players on the bench that day. They had Ryan Sessegnon, they had Brian Hill, they had Dele Alli. Real options to change the game, to bring on fresh legs, to ramp up the pressure in that final 15 minutes or so. Manchester United beat West Ham 1-0, a stoppage time winner. Who did they bring off the bench? Anthony Martial, signed for whatever it was, 35 million from Monaco. Marcus Rashford, England international, and Edson Cavani. You can't have many more celebrated careers than him. They also had Nemanja Matic on that bench, Donny van de Beek, Juan Mata, Jesse Lingard. Arsenal on their bench today had Eddie Nketiah, maybe Nuno Tavares, Callum Chambers. I think I'm right in saying the rest were potentially Premier League debutants. When you are putting a team on the back foot and you get into that final half hour of the game, having the capacity to bring on people who are genuine match winners, genuine threats, is so valuable. And we just did not have that today. And I think we really suffered for it. I actually thought Eddie did okay when he came on. He was busy, but he's not in the class of some of the other names we've mentioned that other teams are able to call on. We are missing an awful lot of players. It's something that perhaps could have been attended to in the transfer market before now, can still be attended to in the transfer market in what remains of the window. We'll get players back as well, but we really need it. And I think particularly in the final third, I mentioned the chance to be able to win the game. I think given the amount of times we got into dangerous territory, given the amount of corners and set pieces we won, free kicks around the edge of the box, we ought to have converted more of that territory, more of those touches in the box into shots. And maybe an elite centre forward is what helps you do that. So yeah, I kind of feel philosophical about this one. I felt like the 11 that we had out on the pitch, the 12 once Nketiah came on, they kind of did okay. There's no one I'm looking to throw under a bus or say that they were terrible, and I don't think the manager could have done much more with the tools that he had available. I just think we ran out of options. You know, we didn't have the cavalry to call on. Will we get some cavalry in the transfer market? I don't know. I'm not trying to detract from the fact that these are really costly points to have dropped, and could be costly come the end of the season. And I'm as disappointed as anybody about that. I just feel like what we saw today was more about what we have available. And interestingly, you know, Burnley hadn't played for 3 weeks, and we thought that might go in our favour because we saw that when we came back against Liverpool, we didn't look sharp. But if there's a game where a style of play where sharpness is less important and energy and fitness levels are, and being fresh is maybe more valuable, it's the kind of game Burnley played today. If they were coming into this game off the back of, you know, 2 or 3 games in the previous fortnight, then when we get into that 70th minute, 75th minute, when the pressure does begin to turn up, when chances do start to come, I do wonder if heads would have dropped, legs would have failed, whether they would have been able to sustain the defensive effort that they put in. As it was, they had the freshness to do that. It's been a really weird month because there have been some real high points, you know, even the defeat to Man City. There was a lot that we liked about that performance. The draw in the first leg at Anfield, that was great. Equally, the loss at Nottingham Forest was really disappointing. And this is a disappointing result too. Make no bones, there can be no doubt about that. Forget about the bones. Don't know where I was going with that. But I think we are seeing the limitations of the squad in the current circumstances. I think our squad is better than it looks right now once we get a number of these players back. And I think it could be better still if we make additions in the transfer market. I'll leave it there for now. My advice to you, enjoy the rest of your weekends and enjoy this little layoff that we've got from club football because it's going to be quite intense once we get back to it. But that's all for now. Disappointing. Bye.